A couple of nights ago, I was bored of my usual routine of YouTube, Twitch, and anime, that endless cycle that I just keep doing and doing, and I decided to switch it up. So I turned on the TV to see what was on cable, which I feel like is a pretty sacred thing to do nowadays, because like nobody does it. Like I really can't even imagine the last time I sat down and watched cable TV for like an extended period of time. During this one-off event, I surfed through the channels and I landed on Cartoon Network. And during the time that I was watching TV, it was the Adult Swim programming block that was going on Cartoon Network. And all the memories started flooding back to me right there. All the like inside jokes that I have with my friends and all the late nights I spent watching this Adult Swim programming block. And whether it be us watching Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule, us watching Robot Chicken, or us watching the acid trip mindfuck of a show off the air. Adult Swim is a programming block I grew up on. I hold it really dear to me because it really shaped who I am to this day. Whether it's my music taste, my art appreciation, or my sense of humor, I feel like all of it can be attributed to Adult Swim, this programming block that ran from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily. My earliest memories of Adult Swim was when I was younger and having sleepovers with my friends. We'd be staying up way too late watching TV, and eventually this Adult Swim programming block would come on. And I know for a fact I was way too young to be watching a lot of these shows, but I loved it. How could I not, with the art styles that were brought in the show and with these weird, wacky, and strange shows that would be coming on. Well, I didn't love all of the shows that were on Adult Swim, like for example, Aqua Teen Hunger Force was a show that I didn't like. I thought it was really weird and strange, but I've really grown to appreciate it for its individuality, and there's really no show that I can think of that has the main cast as a meatball, a milkshake, and a floating pair of fries. So that's really strange, but it's just something that you'll never see again. There's nothing quite like it out there. The biggest reason I love Adult Swim are because of the bumps, they call them. It's the in-between title cards where the text would come up and it would make some witty remark or something like that. And I think this is where a large part of my humor was attributed from, besides the TV shows and all of that. I feel like a lot of my very sarcastic, dry humor can be pulled from these title cards, which was something I've never really seen a network do before. I've never seen, you know, like Nickelodeon or like Disney or like even Comedy Central, like any of them do anything like that. And it added a whole nother layer of personality on this programming block. It wasn't just a programming block that ran from, you know, 11 to 5 a.m. daily. It was more than that. I would sit down and I would tune in to see what the show had to say, what stupid remarks it would make, something like that. And it made me want to, you know, instead of having a commercial that would come up and then I go run to the bathroom or I go run to get some food, I'd be sitting there waiting to see what the Adult Swim creators had to say about the show, or what they had to say about something going on. The bumps range from everything. If you can think of an abstract niche concept, they've probably made a joke about it. And they've done stuff like tree auditions.
Next. Next. Thank you.
The pros of staying in. And those are just two examples of jokes they've made. And on top of all of that, they do PSAs and basic things you should do and shouldn't do. And on top of all of that, they still have time to conduct an extremely important social experiment. This is only a handful of examples of jokes that they've made, and all of the bumps that I previously have shown have all come from August. Each time you sit down and watch Adult Swim, it's a different and new experience, and it really just shows how much the creators love and how much passion they put into this project. And creating new bumps, which are just such a minor thing that most bigger, you know, programming blocks just would look over. They don't, why would they give a shit about this ad? Just put ads there or something like that. And it just is so much nicer to see Adult Swim be a breath of fresh air in this. Another thing Adult Swim has done different than other programming blocks is its fan interaction. So many musicians, artists, and various other people have gotten careers just off of Adult Swim. Like for musicians as an example, all of the previous bumps had music accompanied by it, whether you noticed it or not. Sometimes you won't notice it just because it fits so well with the theme of the bump and what they're trying to convey of that. And that just is so awesome that they're handpicking and doing all of this stuff to really make the experience so much greater. And they're doing it all through fans and people who love and support the show in itself. This is where Adult Swim has shaped my music and me appreciating producers and people who make beats. And I think that's probably all of that has really led to why I like genres like Vaporwave so much, genres where it's mixing and mastering different, old samples. Adult Swim does more than that. During these bumps, they'll incorporate tweets from people who are tweeting at their Twitter page. And while that can feel very disingenuous, like seen with like the Wendy's account, which has done some like funny stuff, but also at the same time, it's like, oh, let's be relatable, hip, okay, boomer, like stuff like that, where it feels super forced and, disingenuous. Adult Swim does it in such a creative way. They'll add tweets in there and then they'll like make fun of the person putting the tweet, or they'll keep adding other jokes or something like that. And there's just a couple examples of that I have that really, show this and show that they do above and beyond just basic fan interactions. They also have done so much more than that, just by having fans remix a door shutting, which is such a crazy concept, and then they include this and give the person a shout out, which I think is just so cool, because someone probably spent so much time to create a beat like that. Each night felt like it was specially handcrafted. Nothing felt forced or rushed. It felt like a conversation with me and my TV screen of the creators at Adult Swim, and it just made it so much more personal than any other programming block I've ever watched, and made it feel like it was like a person, like someone I was talking to while this was going on. Another aspect of the bumps were the scenery pans, where they would do a aesthetic shot and then they would encapsulate the Adult Swim logo, whether it was just the AS or, when it was earlier on, they had a different kind of logo they wanted to use, but they would place it somewhere in the scenery. And this has drove me crazy. Like, I think this is the craziest, just because I would pause my TV and be looking around for like 15 minutes trying to do a Where's Waldo, trying to find the Adult Swim thing. And I feel like every shot has one, but I don't know if that's actually true. I don't know if it's just like some long gag that they're having. They're like, this fucking idiot probably is looking for the Adult Swim thing and we just didn't put it in. So I don't know, but it was just, it really brought in that aesthetic, like, appreciation that I have for certain, environmental scenery and landscapes. Like, you can see the logo here and here, but where's the logo here? Like, you can't find it. The last thing I want to talk about before I wrap all of this up is Toonami, which is probably the sole reason why I like anime as much as I do today. Toonami, for those who don't know, is a sub-programming block that would come on later in the night and just air anime only, whether it's, at the time, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, or other shows of that nature. Cowboy Bebop, I guess, also Samurai Champloo, shows like that.
Toonami continues next with Samurai Champloo.
Really had me be into anime so much more than I would have been without this programming block. I remember on one of those nights I was watching Naruto with my brother, and it was the fight that was Rock Lee and Gaara during the Chunin exams. And when Rock Lee took his weights off, oh my god, it was just the craziest shit I've ever seen. Young Ryan, his eyes were probably glued to the screen when that happened. He dropped it, and at that moment I was like, dude, Gaara, you're about to catch the sauce, bro. It's gonna be intense. And then what happened in the show, I don't want to spoil it in case anybody still hasn't seen the original Naruto right there. But it was just the craziest thing ever, and this was the unrealistic, potential that an anime could have, and that's really the first time that I remember seeing it. And it just, blowing me away. My imagination could never imagine something that absurd, but that crazy. And that's what I've really grown to love. While I don't watch cable TV as much anymore, I still cherish the important memories that I made watching this late night programming block. And while I miss, you know, the first impressions that I've had watching these shows with some of my friends and the inside jokes that really stem from us watching this, I'll never forget it. And it's just something that I'll really hold dear to me. And when I get older and looking back on, you know, what really shaped me as a human to this day, I feel like can be greatly attributed to this Adult Swim late night programming block. I'll see you.